Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of voice of radio. So today, I'm doing something we've never done before on this channel. We're looking at a new Sawsbuck card. You see, ladies and gentlemen, this is a channel which is primarily concerned with the Pokemon trading card game. And we've never talked about Sawsbuck on this channel because we've only ever had two Sawsbuck. There was the terrible one in black and white, and then the terrible one in Emerging Powers, which incidentally was two sets in a row. And that was back in November 2011. And this is coming out in November 2019, which means this will be the first Sawsbuck that we've had in 8 years, and only the third one ever. And the good news is, although the competition is not exactly fierce, it is by a wide margin the very best Sawsbuck we've ever had before. So we start off looking at the basics. It's got 100 HP, which is, I mean, it's fine for a stage 1, but it's lower than Zapdos, so I'm not loving it. Retreat cost of 2 does mean you can free retreat it using the new Beware, but honestly that's not going to matter, as we're going to see in a minute. And the weakness to fire, that's not actually very good at all, because fire decks at the moment are absolutely everywhere because of Welder and things like that. And of course, let's not forget that the new Volcanion, if there aren't 4 fire energy on your opponent's board, will just hit a base 50, which you might notice with weakness is the exact amount of damage needed to take out a Sawsbuck. That, ladies and gentlemen, is not ideal. Now, you are a grass Pokemon, and honestly, grass Pokemon is fine right now. You've got healing in the form of stuff like Life Forest Prison Star and Shaman, which is fine, but you've only got 100 HP, so it's not great. You are hitting weakness on Slowpoke and Psyduck, which is alright, and you are hitting weakness on Magikarp and Wailord, but you're not doing a huge amount of damage. But really here it doesn't matter, because we've got a really nice ability. And the ability reads, once during your turn, before you attack, you may draw a card. That's it. You get to draw a card once per turn. And here's the thing. We've seen this. We've actually seen it on a card that is rotating 3 months before this one comes out. It's Alolan Sandslash. And that's the first thing that gives me pause for thought here, because Alolan Sandslash has seen play. It saw play in some unknown decks to get enough cards out, but outside of that, it's the one where you win if you've got X number, I think 36 cards in hand or something. But the point is, it did see play in that. But that's it. It's not seen a huge amount of play. So then one might imagine that this might not see much play. It was 35 cards, not 36. Pretty darn close, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty darn close. But make no mistake about it, this is a good ability. Now, we are losing a Rangaroo to the rotation, which is what most of us use for our drawing at the moment. But we are keeping some others. I mean, there is a strong argument to make that if you just want the card advantage, you're better off playing Pidgeotto, which lets you look at the top 2 cards, one in your hand, one on the bottom of your deck. So not only do you get to draw a card, but you actually get a choice between 2. So there is an argument that Pidgeotto is just better. And it is super weak, but it can be searched out with Professor Round's lecture, which does mitigate that a little bit. Although this has a good attack, which Pidgeotto does not. And we've got Zeb Striker, discard your hand, draw 4 cards. So it's not like we haven't got other stage 1 options for drawing cards. I still like it. I just don't know how many people are going to play it. What I will say is that there are a bunch of Pokemon that really take advantage of this by putting a card on top of your deck. So the 2 best here are Magcargo and Mewtwo. Magcargo from Celestial Storm's got an ability that lets you search your deck for any card and put it on top of your deck. Sawsbuck then lets you draw it, so the pair of them together basically search for any card. We've also got the Mewtwo that just came out in Unbroken Bonds, and the ability for that one is that when you put it from your hand onto your bench, you may put a supporter card from your discard pile on top of your deck. And then, of course, you use Sawsbuck to draw it, so it's as if you played Mewtwo to just recover that supporter. Now, there is one other card that does this in the format at the moment. Anyone name it? It's not a widely played one. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a deck of it in. It is the Florges from Forbidden Light with the Wondrous Gift ability. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin. If heads, put an item card from your discard pile on top of your deck. So it basically turns it into flip a coin if heads, search your discard pile for an item card and put it in your hand. Which incidentally would make it order pad, but from the discard pile, not from the deck. Having said that, Florges is a stage 2, and I don't think it's really good enough to warrant seeing play here. It's not a phenomenal ability, but it certainly looks good on the face of it, and it's got some good combos. It worries me that Alolan Sandslash didn't see more play, but I'm still kind of in on this. But there's a useful attack here as well. 1 grass, 1 colourless energy, and it does 60 damage. And you may switch this Pokemon with one of your bench. Incidentally, our translation here comes from the lovely me using Google Translate, but I did check with the lovely Joe over at Cerebi.net before I went and recorded the video. And this is weird, right? Because this is basically Alolan Sandslash's attack. This card is weirdly, creepily like a reprint of Alolan Sandslash. Except it's actually better than Alolan Sandslash, because it does 10 more damage for 1 less energy, 1 fewer energy. To be fair, it also, I believe, it is optional rather than mandatory whether you switch, whereas Alolan Sandslash wasn't, but that's kind of irrelevant. You'll want to switch anyway. But the point here is you're doing more damage for less energy, fewer energy. That's a good thing. That's a very, very good thing. And this is a hit and run Pokemon. So the goal here is extremely simple. Hit for 60, switch to the bench, and put something up active that your opponent can't attack. Maybe something like a Shuckle, for instance, whereby they've got to have free energy attached. Or a Keldeo, which cannot be touched by EX or GX Pokemon. Although one thing we've got to remind ourselves of now, Power Plant is a thing. And Power Plant will turn off the abilities of any EX or GX Pokemon. And a lot of these walls, like Shuckle, like Keldeo, are GX Pokemon, so your opponent can literally just turn their ability off with a Power Plant, and that could be a little bit of a pain. But maybe you just chuck up something like Wailord that we looked at yesterday. Wailord could be fun. It's got 200 HP. And now that we've got that aforementioned Beware, which can be used in conjunction with stuff like a skateboard or U-turn board, all of a sudden we can retreat. If we're making a hit and run deck, think Hitmonchan, we can actually retreat here using a combination of Beware and a skateboard. And look, 2 Beware goes up to 4 retreat, which is the most you will ever need. But 1 Beware and an escape board will put you up to 3, which 99% of the time, maybe a bit less than that, is going to be enough to retreat the Pokemon you're sticking up as a wall. So Beware has massively helped hit and run decks. This is a decent hit and run Pokemon, and you've got the great ability. Now, in terms of the 60 damage, it's actually quite nice, because there's a bunch of evolving Pokemon like Inkay or the new Grubbin, for instance, which have 60 HP, and you will get a KO on here quite nicely. What does make me apprehensive is that with weakness, you're not even 2-hit KOing a Slowpoke and Psyduck. Yeah, they got 250 HP, which is more than like Gengar and Mimikyu and Pikachu and Zekrom. And it's 2 evolving basics. Bit weird if you ask me. But you're not even 2-hit KOing them. 2 hits with weakness is 240. So you're not exactly a powerhouse attack here. But I really do like the fact that you can KO those 60 HP basics. I think we should go ahead and give this between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. You see, on the one hand, I adore the ability and I think it's great. On the other hand, we've got better Pokemon, and Alolan Sandslash had the same ability and never saw play. I do like the attack, but are we going to play it as a hit-and-run Pokemon over something like Hitmonchan? Again, I'm a little apprehensive. Either way, I am a little bit excited, and if nothing else, it's the best Sawsbuck we've ever had by a huge margin, and the first one we've had in 8 years. So that's kind of cool. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I think about Sawsbuck. But hey, this is a part where I'd like to know what you think about Sawsbuck. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about games that don't even have Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.